Toy Chat is not a children's channel. This video is intended for adult gift givers and collectors. Hey guys, welcome to Toy Chat. This is Max.
And Sang.
And this is another episode of our Collector's Corner podcast where we address hot topics in the doll and toy industry involving some of our favorite brands. So, as promised in our last video, we are going to be having a deeper discussion about the Rainbow High versus Shadow High pop-up experience. You know, we attended the event recently at the time of recording just this past weekend, and we have already shared our main vlog from that event. So if you guys want to check that out, it will be linked in the description below. This video is going to dive straight into kind of the aftermath of just everything, a little bit of a postmortem, if you will, of the event. We're just going to be diving into thoughts, opinions on it, addressing some of kind of the top concerns and controversies that stemmed from the event, and how our experience may have differed from other collectors. And this is definitely going to be a much more intensive, in-depth conversation, so it's going to be quite a bit longer than the original vlog video.
There was a lot that we couldn't include in the vlog video without, making it super long. But I feel like there was a lot of, conversations being had about the event from people who were attending, as well as people who weren't attending. So we just want to give our insight and our own personal experience, what we saw and did while we were there. And of course, you guys can come up with your own conclusion based on if you went or didn't go. So you can decide if the event was successful or not, and if they should do it again, or things they should change.
Yeah, and once again, just to reiterate, the purpose of this video, we're not going to be describing like everything we saw and, experienced inside the event. Again, if you want that, definitely check out our main vlog video. So we're just going to dive right into the deeper conversations and opinions. So, as we mentioned in the vlog, we were invited to the exclusive first look day, which took place one day before the general public event. So actually at the time when we were first invited to the first look day, we weren't even aware there was going to be a general public event. So
the information we received was very vague. And I'm not sure how much detail we can go into it. But yeah, we were invited directly from our PR rep. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they just say, hey, say this date. And that was pretty much it. And then the following day, was it the following day? It was a day or so afterwards, their Instagram posted, that there was a general public day following day. And then we were really confused because we weren't sure if our email had the dates wrong. So it was, Yes, because we were told a different date, because we were told about the exclusive first look day, so that was funny. But yeah, so the way it turned out being, of course, was that, I think the 21st, which was Saturday, is what ended up being the exclusive first look day, and the 22nd, Sunday, was for the public. So we kind of touched on the differences, between the different days, on our vlog video. And essentially the invite only day was extended specifically from MGA representatives, PR reps. So it was a lot of folks who are in entertainment and media. It was a lot of YouTubers, influencers, media personalities, things like that. Because of that, of course, the total turnout was a bit different. Obviously, the amount of foot traffic was a bit different on the first look day compared to the general public day. We touched on that a bit in our vlog as well. I think that definitely had an impact on the general experience, because the Sunday was so high traffic, that, as we mentioned, they had to split up the different groups. So
a lot of those folks ended up dedicating a lot of their time inside to just waiting in the retail line, as where the first look day felt a lot more like a social mixer, where people had the opportunity to actually kind of mingle and look around and really appreciate these really cool, installations and stuff like that, which we saw some of that, of course, on Sunday as well. But the later in the day it got, the more crowded it got. And it was just line pretty much at a certain point. We're based on the West Coast, but we do not live in Los Angeles, so this did involve a little bit of travel for us. And
we talked about flying, but then we're not too far away from the LA area, but so we have done road trips to LA before, so this wasn't like a crazy long driving experience for us. So we ended up deciding to drive because flying felt like it would have been too costly, especially in this economy. And just like we didn't know what was going to be offered at the event, so we weren't even sure if we should be lugging a bunch of dolls on an airplane. So we drove, and that was fun. It's always a fun road trip. Max hates road trips. But hate is a strong word. Okay,
but I'm not always like in the mood for them. I'm not being in a car for a super long time is not my favorite, but it's cheaper.
It is cheaper. I like being driven around, so I don't mind. But it was all right. It was fun, and then we drove up Saturday.
We had some other stories we could tell y'all if this was more of a PG-13 and above channel in terms of just our hotel experience. I'm gonna say right now, just in general with travel, especially for events like this, if you're just like, I've never been to this area before, I don't know, this is just not the case for us. We've totally been to LA, but research where you're staying if at all possible, because we had a really interesting hotel experience. But to put it lightly and to keep things simple, but it was convenient enough that we were close to the event. I think one of the most interesting things for me in terms of our experience was, I can definitely say off the bat that and I feel like Sang would probably echo this sentiment, is I left the first day of the event, the exclusive first look, feeling like it was incredible, really. I had an amazing experience. It was super fun. It just felt like there were a lot of really awesome photo opportunities. I thought it was a really cool atmosphere. Obviously, we didn't end up running into the big issue of crazy lines and really rapid sellouts of the super popular product. So it really gave us some very interesting perspective once day 2 hit. We'll kind of focus on day 1 to start, kind of kicking off with the experiences with the employees specifically. It's just so interesting, when you have a very singular experience of an event or just something that happens, and then there's another day of the event that's structured differently, and it just completely redefines the experience, and it kind of gives you some perspective. But we personally, I'm telling you guys right now, in terms of our interactions with the employees, we were specifically, me and Sang and Michael, our friend Michael, who also attended, we were all talking to each other about oh wow, the staff was amazing. They were really accommodating. They were sweet. They were, we were kind of being a pain because we were asking them to bring out more dolls, of course, to inspect for wonk. And
disclaimer, we did buy our dolls the first day, and we did not buy any dolls the second day. So yes, I'm glad we went both days, to get a perspective on the differences. I have no regrets going 2 days and pretty much spending $85 on the second day.
Some details of this event were so mysterious that we wanted to stay committed to the day we paid for, the general public day, because we weren't sure if there would be new or different things. And of course we wanted to meet more people, which definitely didn't really get a chance to address this in our vlog video, but of course, one of the absolute best things about these in-person events is the people you get to meet. You know, there's all these different folks in the kind of the collector, sphere that online, or that you maybe watch on YouTube, or, you just kind of know them through social media. And then you get an opportunity to actually meet and interact with them in person, which is so cool. We got to meet, some online friends who we've only been talking to online for a long time. We got to meet many of you who watch our channel. We got to take pictures with some of you guys. And that was a really amazing, really special experience. And I would actually say that's the number one reason I'm glad Sang and I attended the general public Sunday, is because we got way more of a chance to meet folks in the community. I'm kind of like getting ahead of myself here, but the experiences with the employees on the first day for us was great. We had a really great experience with the employees. Like I said, we were literally commenting on like, oh my gosh, like, these employees were so sweet, so accommodating, really helpful. And of course, event planning is intense. There's like a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of things you have to factor in. And of course, we don't know necessarily whether or not, I'm assuming probably not. These folks were probably hired as part of a third party, to actually bring these employees on. I don't want to assume that all or any of these folks are like MGA employees.
Yeah, to Max's point, anything can go wrong. Anything. Literally, just a small factor can really just ruin the experience. And I think the staff did their best. Maybe, there was a lot of miscommunication. Again, this was an event that their first event. So there's a lot of things that they can work on, and I'm sure this event will help them plan newer ones. But overall, our experience with the staff were really positive. Even though if they didn't know something, they went out of the way to make sure that they get the information correct to help us. Yeah, they were all really friendly.
Yeah, it's an interesting contrast because we came across multiple folks saying the exact opposite in terms of what their experience was on the second day, on the general public day, that they said the staff was rude to them, that they said it seemed like the staff was really misinformed, so on and so forth. Granted, I'm sure the staff was dealing with a very different situation on day two, just because the traffic was so much higher. It's, of course, obviously retail just in general. Sang and I have both worked retail before. It's very stressful, especially when traffic is crazy. It's just that you're dealing with a whole bunch of people, especially when you're dealing with crowd control and enormous lines. I understand why on day two things just probably got more intense. But yeah, we did, in terms of miscommunication, even though definitely we loved, our interactions with the employees on day one, some of the grievances that folks were mentioning on day two, specifically on miscommunication, we did see some of that on day one.
So this is the biggest one. So when Max and I went in, we mingled and we did our photo ops and we started recording vlog footage. I think Max, you came up to me and you said, hey, like, this is all this, they said this is all the stock they're gonna have. Yeah. So I rushed over to the retail store, and so I'm sure there's a picture of it, but the Rainbow High side was literally just a shelf, like a really small, narrow single shelf.
I took footage of it. Yeah. I'll show it here.
A little small table with one employee handling the whole thing. Luckily, there wasn't a line or anything, but there was a couple people in front of me. But she told us that this is all the stock we had.
Yes, that employee was under the impression at the time that once that product on that little shelf sold out, that it was gone.
Yeah, literally there was maybe like 5 or 6 of each character.
Yes.
So I was like, well, I was initially gonna buy these doll on day 2 because I would be using my 20% discount. So I end up buying them on day 1 under the impression that all the stock they have was on the shelf. But during my purchase, one of the more, I think she seemed like the main manager. She came up and she said there was more in the back, and if I wanted, she would bring out me a fresh batch of all of the characters because she knew I was buying them all. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll take whatever's in the back. So Max already made his purchase. He got some from the shelf. Of course, we didn't kind of inspect crazily for Max because there was only a couple on the shelf. But she had an employee bring me a fresh box of all the characters. And, this part, they went beyond what I was expecting. But there was a few, I was that collector, and I inspected all the dolls, and there were a few that had, a bit of wonk. So I asked him to, exchange 4 out of 6 of them for me. And he did. He brought out 4 more, and then I okay, well, these 2 are wonky. Yeah. And then he brought out another batch of 2. I was a difficult customer, but he ended up giving me a nice set. Yeah. So there were more in the back, but that was one of the first miscommunication that we had with an employee, where she was really flustered because she was the only one on the floor handling the Rainbow High side.
Yeah, and there was some, as we mentioned, in our vlog as well, on the first look day, the folks who were invited could redeem 1 free doll. There was some miscommunication over that, like which ones were eligible and which ones were not eligible. We ended up hearing different things from different people.
Just to clarify, not every person attending day 1 got a free doll.
Correct.
Yes, only influencers who were specifically invited,
who received the invite,
would receive the free voucher.
Yes.
And
so as an example, like we invited Michael, our friend Michael, as a guest. He could not redeem a free doll.
Yes.
So the guests could not use that.
Yeah. So there's a picture of me wearing the wristband with the gold one. And if you have the gold one, you would pretty much been able to redeem one of the dolls there. So we noticed, people were redeeming their free doll, and most people chose one of the series 4 Rainbow High characters. At a certain point, I did notice, because Max and Michael abandoned me with all the boxes while they went to get food and use the bathroom. So I was there for like 30 minutes, and I noticed that they weren't restocking the Rainbow High section, because I was just standing there in the retail area. And what they did was they instead stocked all the shelves with the journal, the Rainbow High journal. And at that point, they weren't offering the Rainbow High dolls as a free voucher purchase or free voucher item. So you can only redeem the journals. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it was like 2 hours after the event started, that both the shelves were at that point were just the journals. I think this is my speculation, and it's definitely not. They're not going to confirm or deny, and maybe this is not the case, but it just felt like they were, at that point, a little more concerned about stock. That's why they weren't offering any more of the other
free
stuff.
Dolls. Yeah, which it felt like they were maybe trying to conserve stock at that point, which is why the rules for the free voucher kind of shifted.
And someone asked like, oh, can we still buy Rainbow High? Where are the Rainbow High dolls, or where are the Shadow High dolls? And they said, we have some in the back, but they're only for purchase and not for redemption. The free voucher redemption.
Yeah. One other thing just to kind of mention is we did see a handful of people saying that they believed that there were folks like mass buying duplicates of the same doll on the exclusive first look day, like to resell and flip or whatever, and that somehow like caused the shortage of stock on the second day. We personally, and we spent a lot of time in the retail area because we were waiting, because obviously Sang and I are completists, so we bought like one of everything, and then we had these huge boxes that we had to watch. But we didn't witness that happening. We did not see a single person like walk away with a stack of Storm Twins or something like that.
You couldn't even do that because they didn't have any carts. I mean, if you were going to scalp, you're going to need big arms.
Yes, I think the reality of the situation is, in terms of the stock, I think they just didn't have enough stock in general. I think for the most part, every attendee probably purchased one of Ainsley and the Storm Twins, because of course they were the new exciting characters of the event. So I think there just wasn't enough to go around in general. In terms of people we met as well, it was really cool meeting you know, certain like influencers and YouTubers for the very first time. And I mean, yeah, truthfully, like obviously Sang and I are a smaller channel, so we don't know personally, you know, a lot of these people, but it was really cool meeting a lot of them for the very first time. We got to meet in person finally Melissa of My World. You know, she's super sweet. We got to meet Zombie Corn, Jay, you know, a couple other folks. Like I said, I would definitely say we got to have kind of more interactions, you know, with both people we know and people who watch our channel on Sunday, which made me, again, very grateful that we went on Sunday, because that was, I would say, was a huge part of what defined the experience for me on the second day.
So on day 2, we didn't really rush to go in, even though we had a 12 o'clock time slot. So we just showed up at 12 and, you know, we stood in line and got in. And yeah, that day was like meant for us to, you know, mingle with, you know, more people, as well as take any more additional footage in case we missed something. But I had promised my niece that I would get her
Delilah Fields.
Delilah. Oh my gosh. Hopefully I don't get this section.
Delilah Fields.
Delilah Fields. Yeah. And so I went straight to the retail store, and there was a line. There was at least 20 people ahead of me at that point. And yeah, I stood in line because I just wanted that one doll. And, you know, like, what the heck? I'm just going to use my 20% off there and pick up the free voucher shirts that we paid for. But yeah, the line was really slow. And at a certain point, there was talk going around that the twins sold out. And I was like, well, it's only like 12:15.
Yeah. And
that was weird. But yeah, by the time we got up there, they still had Series 4. I wasn't 100% sure, but they looked like the shelves had some characters. They were out of the twins, and I didn't see Ainsley. And this couldn't be more than like 12:30. So what they were doing was they were stocking the shelves with the stuff that were in the blind boxes. And we'll get to the mystery boxes in a little bit. But yeah, there was pretty much older doll releases. And they stocked the Shadow High side with this Series 1 Shadow High characters. Yeah.
Which those weren't even like out on the first day.
No, they weren't.
Yeah,
they were specifically for day 2, yeah.
Yes. And it was pretty, I would say when we first got there, it was relatively mellow, and the ambiance was a little more similar to the first day. But again, as we mentioned in the vlog, they had to split up people into groups because the turnout was just so crazy, which I feel like is a recurring theme for every fandom that has an event. So I think, and again, event planning it's tough. I think especially when you're under a time crunch, and there's just all these different factors to consider. And so needless to say, they got a crazy turnout for this event. And I think that's something we kind of need to keep in mind is to some extent, this is also, I think, going to be a learning experience for MGA and Rainbow High. Again, as we mentioned in the prior video too, we know they are collecting feedback on it, which we'll maybe address that again at the end of this. But as the day went on, the just what was going on inside of the building kind of shifted to a point where Sang and I suddenly realized, like, oh wow, like the entire interior is just like a line. It's just like a huge line, which again, that was not the case at all on the first day. It was very different.
To be honest, the line for the first day retail store can't be more than like 10 people at a time. Yeah, it was really short on the first day. Yes, but literally the second day, the whole building was just the line for the retail store.
Yeah, and it's also really interesting, and I actually want to ask you guys what your experience was, because Sang and I didn't really experience this firsthand, but we heard some other people say that they were asked to leave after a certain amount of time because that was like their time frame that they could be in there for, which granted, that was stated in that when you sign up for the event, it did say quote unquote a 90-minute session. Part of the problem, I think, with that, though, is I don't even know what the system would have been for keeping track.
I think they just let in a group of people and then kick everyone else out at once. Yeah, and you know, it doesn't really make sense. If you're in line for 2 hours for the retail store, like, you don't have the time and luxury to do all the installations they had. So yeah, that was a flaw. And also, when you go through the retail store, the exit is through the retail store, the gift shop, pretty much.
So you're almost like prompted to leave.
Yes.
After
there
the
is
shop.
a side area where you can go back into the installation area, but I don't think most people did. So they just left and they couldn't get back in. So yeah, that was another issue that they had was, most people just bought their dolls and they just left. And that's the thing. Like, even if you were wanting to go back, you're lugging around all these dolls with you. And yeah, that was poor planning.
That being said, it's interesting because there's certain aspects of this that you might be able to say, you know, MGA as the event planner should have accounted for versus what we as collectors need to account for in terms of, you know, when we're attending events that we know are going to be high traffic, that we know are going to have limited collectibles, that we know are, you know, and obviously if any of y'all have been following us for a really long time, you know we attended the Funko HQ grand opening in Washington, which was a little disastrous. So in terms of how the line was managed in limited collectibles. Yeah. I think collectors, especially long time, like hardcore OG collectors, are familiar with stuff like this potentially happening, like really rapid sellouts, lines. How are you going to carry the merchandise once you have it? You know, just all these things. And of course, that all just comes with time and experience. And I think, you know, the same, of course, can be said for MGA and Rainbow High. You know, having Rainbow High as a brand, I'm sure MGA as the parent company has dealt with other events, but Rainbow High kind of having its first, you know, dedicated event.
So because the line was so long and it wrapped around the whole inside of the building, it did create a lot of blockage in terms of, like, if someone wanted to use the photo op installation or something, it was difficult, and no one was really doing it because they wanted to be in line to make sure they had an opportunity to buy their dolls. So that created this domino effect where, you have all these cool things you could do, but you're so anxious to buy your dolls, make sure you get them, that you're missing out on those experiences. Which
I am kind of curious how many folks, and, you know, you guys can let us know what your experience was if you were there. You know, how many folks, because I know it seemed like the employees were, like, trying to spread the word, like, hey, these products are sold out. But I feel like there were for sure people in line who just weren't aware.
Well, so from my personal experience, if I was in line already for like an hour already, because we were sitting there on the couches for a little while mingling with some of the other people who were already purchased their stuff. Around like 1 o'clock, 1:15, an employee did go around the line, and she did mention, like, hey guys, just want to let you know that the twins, Ainsley, and Series 4 are completely out, and we just have some older stuff in stock. So if you're here to buy those things, I'm sorry, we're out. No one left the line. No one left the line. And from my experience, like, if someone had come up to me after I waited an hour or more in line, told me, we think we're out of these stocks, I'm not going to leave the line in case something happens. They find more stock, you know?
Exactly.
So most people just stayed in line hoping for their chance. Maybe they found some stock or the employee was misinformed. But it didn't discourage anyone from getting out of line. So when we posted our vlog video, one of the comments we got was from Ray Hernandez, and he said he had a 3 o'clock time slot on Sunday, and they made him wait outside until the group inside were completely gone. And when he entered, there were stock of Ainsley and Series 4. So he said that they might have reserved some stock for the later group's time slots. Which is interesting, because I get it, like, you want to spread out your stock, but also it's really unfair for the people who are standing in line this whole time
Yeah.
Just to say, oh, we're out of stock. And then later on, there's stock.
Yeah, I'm like, I understand that logic, yet I don't. Yeah. But I also don't necessarily know how, or like the logic behind how they split up these groups. Like if it really was first come, first serve, like the people whose ticket submissions went through first ended up in like the first group and so on and so forth. In which case you're kind of like, well, then those people should probably be prioritized to get, obviously to get the remaining stock. But
so hopefully in the future, if they're going to do time slots, it should be first come, first serve, unless you specifically chose your own time slots. Yeah. Congratulations, people who do. You deserve it. You went to an event. Everyone deserved to get the dolls. And I think in the future, what they should have done, I think someone mentioned it on Instagram. Maybe if you're going to sell tickets to an event where there are exclusive dolls, you should be able to pre-order dolls or gauge people's interests on what they're buying so you have stock. Because I understand that, event planning is difficult when you have products and you don't want to overestimate the amount of things that people will buy and end up having extra stock. But here, that people are going to buy these new time exclusive dolls, then you should have more stock. If you're going to sell 100 tickets, at least have 100 dolls of that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the best indicator of, how much stock you should have. That being said, I think something we need to account for, especially with everything going on in the world and the pandemic and international related shipments, that there's certain items that a company can't necessarily guarantee that they will have like a very specific allotted amount of by a certain date. That's probably part of the reason why, a lot of people are upset about the fact that both the Storm Twins and Ainsley just popped up at Target, like literally a day or so after the event ended. And they also, the pricing was different. The twins were priced at like $51.99, I think, at Target, and Ainsley,
I think she was 50.
Like 50, but at the event, the twins were, I believe, 70. Yeah, the twins were 70 and Ainsley was 60. Hey guys, this is Max in editing, just jumping in for a quick update on this piece of information. So we recently went to a Target that actually had the Storm Twins price as matching the $69.99 at the event. So we don't know if this price will actually vary by location, or it may have been an error in Target's system that has or will eventually be corrected. There's a variety of reasons why that might have been the case. Sometimes for pre-release product, or when you're working with a third-party retailer or an event space, you have to pay premium pricing, for whatever new product. And again, I'm going to take a wild guess that MGA probably did not directly anticipate that those dolls would be available so soon at these other retailers. Again, that's something that the parties involved don't entirely have control over. But so I think kind of touching on the value of this event, which is something folks have been bringing up a lot. Of course, it's basically a low of $25 basically for general admission, and then a high of like $85, which was the premiere. Kind of for some perspective on that, like a conversation Sang and I ended up having is like, technically what you are really directly paying for is the flat $25 fee for entry. Everything beyond that, you were essentially prepaying for items at the pop-up.
So $25 is for the entry fee, and then the next tier up was $55. You are prepaying a shirt because that's what's being offered, and that was $30 a shirt. So you are not actually getting discounts. Minus the discount, you are getting the 10% discount. So that's what you are getting for free. And then the premiere ticket is $85. If you do the math, it's the $25 entry fee. And then each shirt is $30, so that's $60. And that comes out to $85.
Yes.
So you are getting the 20% discount to buy more stuff.
Yes. So I think just worth keeping in mind for some added perspective that, you don't necessarily need to look at it as, I paid $85 for this premium ticket for like the experience. You were essentially paying $25 for entry, and then you were prepaying for these products that were sold at the event at the same price, which the shirts, the impression I have is those were exclusive to the event.
Yeah.
Those items were exclusive to the event.
But another thing about the shirts, though, I think they should have pre-ordered or give you the option to pick sizes, because at that point, like me and you, even though we were really early, they were running out of shirts.
Yes, they were running out of sizes of shirts. Yeah, that's definitely another thing, I would say to keep in mind for next time. But yeah, I'm bringing that up because, we've been to other events and conventions and toy fairs and stuff like that. And at pretty much every single one we've been to, it's like a baseline, like a bare minimum of $20 to $30 or much more for entry. So I think in terms of, if you look at it from that perspective and the things that MGA did have set up inside, I would say the base entry fee was very fair. Obviously, there were a lot of other factors, of course, that impacted the experience and what people were able to buy, and ultimately collectors by their name, want their collectibles. So of course,
with the $25 entry, you get a tote bag that you can design, as well as the little
the student ID card, and there's like activities, kind of,
for sure. And like the installation costs money, and I think they're all the photo ops were really cool, and honestly, what they did with what they had was great.
Yes. I would say the interior was lovely. I think it was really cool, really fun. Yeah, we're going to kind of address the main controversies, which we've already kind of been like touching on them thus far, following this event. So the mystery boxes, which is really funny. A lot of people were like asking us about that. Like, what's in the mystery box? What did you get in the mystery box? Like, can you show an unboxing? So, this actually makes me remember the other key thing I really wanted to bring up, is I think the secrecy and just like mysterious prestige behind this event is a big part of what built up so much hype. And I mean, of course, from a marketing perspective, that makes a lot of sense. You're going to get your fans really hyped up about the event.
Yeah.
I am personally am of the opinion that I think that was a little bit, I don't know if double-edged sword is the right word. It had a lot of pros and cons.
Yeah.
MGA having that approach of being so mysterious about like what the event was and what products would be available, and if, or like, brand new or exclusive dolls would be unveiled. Of course, this company is very known for its blind box products. It almost was like adding a blind box element to an in-person event, which I think that's very risky, because you're asking people to travel and make a huge investment to show up in person to this event. And then if the experience is not what they were hoping for, it's gonna, I think that's why some of the responses are just such strong, like emotional responses, because it's just like, you're like, I invested this amount of my time and money and dedication to attending this, and it was not what I was anticipating. That is just kind of a word of caution I would share to MGA. I mean, I think that's one of MGA's strengths for sure, is they have a brilliant marketing team. They have, they're really good at making things kind of mysterious, and feel fresh and alluring in a really appealing way. But I think it's just, you got to be cautious with how far you go with that approach, and when it comes to certain things like in-person events.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very sympathetic towards people who did a lot of traveling just to attend this event, and if you show up and there's not anything to purchase that you're hoping for, then that is awful. Like, if we just attended the general public day and just had that day as our experience, and I would be really sad if I didn't get Ainsley or the twins, expecting that they, for sure they were going to be there. That would have been an awful feeling. So I totally understand, and I'm glad that Target has them for cheaper, because Target's really easy for us to get stuff. So I hope you guys will find them if you are looking for them, and it's nice to be able to inspect the dolls you buy too.
Yeah, but so circling back to the mystery boxes, and that's kind of why I went on my whole little tangent about really mysterious, like, oh, you don't know what'll happen, what will this be. That was very much how they promoted the mystery boxes, and they promoted it as being, what was it was supposed to be, they said an access. Okay, that's also is another miscommunication issue. I heard slightly different descriptions from different employees. There were some people who were like, oh, there's like an accessory and a play set and a doll. And some people didn't use the word playset. They used the word something like fashion related or something or something. It was different. They used different terminology. And they're like, oh yeah, we're not supposed to say what's in there. And I mean, of course, collectors are going to go cray. What's that? Is it a prototype? Is it like an unreleased?
That's the thing. Like,
which maybe that's on us for going too crazy.
Well, I mean, I asked them like, hey, like what's inside? What kind of general idea what's inside? Like, and the employee was very cheeky. He was like, well, there's a doll, there's accessory, and like a play set. I'm like, okay. I wish I had asked her if, like, you have to be honest with me. I am a collector, and I buy every single Rainbow High product. Am I going to be disappointed? I wish I asked her that, and I wonder what her response would be. But she, she winked, and she's like, yeah, I can't say.
Yeah, I mean, they might not have even known. I mean, they might have been given vague information. Maybe they did.
So it was advertised as a $50 purchase with a potential $150 value. Which, once we opened it did calculate around there.
Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely. If you're talking pure monetary value of the items inside, it was well above $50 in all cases. Yeah. But yeah, if you were a diehard collector of Rainbow High, which many of the attendees were, you would be getting duplicates of items you already have.
And because of the My Bot, I can say we have collectively every single Rainbow High product released so far.
Yes.
So what's inside for sure is the car, which Max and I passed on originally. So we have cars.
We have cars now. And Sang's niece has a car, and Michael's niece and nephew have a car.
Yes. So every single box had the car, and that was the playset they were talking about, which I don't consider that a playset.
Quote unquote playset. Yes. Yeah.
And then there was the journal. So the journal was included. Every single one had a journal, and the only thing that was different per box was the doll. And on day one, it was an exclusive doll to a retailer. So your options were Kaya, we got the Slumber Party Girls, there was I guess Amaya isn't a retail exclusive, but there was Amaya, there was also Lily. Those are the ones we noticed on day one, but I heard day two blind boxes or mystery boxes had series 4.
I'm really curious if anyone ended up getting a numbered version of Jet or Lily.
I don't think
in the mystery
maybe.
boxes. I have no idea.
We got a Lily, and
we got the Jet I got in mine was an unnumbered edition.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, series 4. Some people are saying they found in the mystery boxes. So yeah,
and ultimately too at the end of the event, because there was so much, and again the terminology they used in the promotional materials for this event, like exclusive items you can't buy anywhere else, which I mean I knew from the start. I was like, okay, that might just be like merch or like swag or something like that.
I mean,
but
the
of course,
optimism in me was like, what if it's like a uncolored version or on grayscale version of Ainsley,
like a variant of something. And
it was a shirt, and I'm sure collectors weren't going to go to this event if it was just a shirt. So
yes.
The shirts are cool though.
They are cool. Yeah, they're great shirts. They're simple, but they're really cute. Overall, I think something that is very much worth mentioning. We've said it many times before. If there's one thing we can say about MGA, it's that when fans are loud about something they want or something they're concerned about or upset about, MGA tends to listen. And they did send out feedback surveys to all attendees of the event. And
if you attended, definitely we encourage you to write to them.
Definitely submit the survey and make sure whatever your feedback is, if it's positive, great. If it's more negative, I would definitely just try to keep what you're saying respectful, because and I totally understand why people would be very upset about certain things, or if your experience went a certain way, and you can let them know that. You can let them know that, hey, I had a really bad experience because this happened, and I wish you guys would do this differently, so they can maybe do that differently next time.
What's the pronoun or proverb? You track more more bees with honey.
You attract more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, keep it, professional, and keep it professional. If you have, any complaints and any negative feedback, they are listening, and they have heard people, the people who attended. That kind of leads us into the MJ's response, but we'll get there in a little bit. But really quick, we just want to talk about, we personally, from day one. So from our personal experience, on day one, none of the employees mentioned any buying quantity limits. Mm-hmm. So I'm just putting it out there. But again, we did not see anyone buy more than one of each.
No, I did not see a single person walk out with like an abnormally large stack of duplicates of the same doll. I did not see a single person do that.
And then the final controversy, or I guess maybe critique, that we would want to mention is, in the future, if they're going to do this again, make the retail store bigger.
Yes.
A small little shelf with a couple of your items, it's not going to cut it. There were so many employees running back and forth from the back to the front, carrying dolls because people were buying them.
Yeah.
So, stock up those walls with the dolls. Yeah.
Maybe, and I mean, that was actually one of the main things I said during the event too. I was like, just after being there and looking around, I was like, dang. I was like, this is a testament to how popular Rainbow High has gotten. Yeah. I was like, I remember when this was, granted, of course, the MGA is a huge company, but when Rainbow High first came out as like a new, small brand, or just, a new brand to the market, as I said in our Series 1 review, I suspected it would be very successful, and it has been more successful than I could have imagined. I mean, the fact that it is attracting this amount of folks to travel out for an in-person event, and I think that's really cool and exciting for the brand. But I also think because of that, I think it is going to be super important for, for them to take the commentary and feedback of this fandom very seriously, because it's clearly a very dedicated and just ever expanding fandom. I definitely do hope that MGA does something like this again. I think it would be really cool for them to do something like this again. Maybe they'll just make it like the Rainbow High convention, so Sang and I can just have multiple doll conventions to go to routinely. Yeah. But yeah, I just hope that they will listen to what the fans have to say, both positive and negative, and I'm confident they will. Another thing that is really worth noting is the fact that, MGA has already addressed the situation and is kind of like working to remedy the main concerns of hyper limited product. They sent out an email to all of the attendees of the public day, extending an offer for a discount voucher code. It also was kind of like implying, at least the way it was worded, we will make sure you get this product, and that you're able to buy it at a discount. And they said they'll send out more information on exactly how to use it and purchase that soon. Yeah,
keep in mind the event was Sunday, and they got back to collectors on Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. It's insane. Yeah, and it's the fast response was really appreciated. Despite them not having all the information ready for us, the fact that they reached out and say, hey, we are fixing this and this is what we're suggesting, and we'll give you more information when we have it, that shows you they are listening and that they care about what collectors think, because again, we are the people buying their product. And they want to make us happy.
Yeah, so, like I said, ultimately, I think it would be really cool to have an event like this again in the future. Obviously, there are some pros and cons and feedback that MGA could and should incorporate into the next one. definitely join the conversation in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think of just the whole experience, the whole event, the whole situation, the controversies, the positives and negatives. You know, did you attend? What did you think? You know, we definitely want to have this conversation with you guys, and we would love to meet even more of you. You know, again, cannot stress that enough. It was just so amazing, you know, meeting some of you guys who watch our channel in person. That's, yeah, Sang and I put a ridiculous amount of work into our YouTube channel, so it's just really special, you know, to meet you guys and just kind of hear your commentary and like feedback and stuff on it in person.
I echo what Max said, and you know, we are hard at work with covering all the stuff that we got at the event. I don't want to put it out there because every time I put it out there, it takes forever. But yes, we are working on the twins. The twins should be next.
Yes.
As well as Ainsley. And then we'll get to series 4. And, you know, we would love to put out more content as quickly as possible. But, you know, we really pride ourselves in the amount of work we put into our videos and all the, you know, little attention to details we do. So we apologize if some of the stuff don't come out quite as quickly as we want it to be, and guys, what you guys expect, but we are hard at work at those.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, we are very detail oriented, and I think that I feel like that's one of the most common pieces of positive feedback our channel has received, is that we really like go in on the details, and so we want to keep that up, which unfortunately can take time, but yeah, we are, rest assured, we are hard at work doing the very best we can. You know, YouTube is not our full-time job and income yet, so we're working on that. But you know, we have other obviously responsibilities and stuff that we need to do. But yeah, we are working our tails off to get this stuff out. So look forward to lots of fun new reviews and content coming soon. So,
and we have other stuff besides Rainbow High.
Yes, we do. As I've mentioned, yeah, we visited the Mattel Creations pop-up, girl, and that was just a moment.
It's either gonna be a really short video or kind of long, and probably will get us in trouble.
Yes. So definitely stay tuned for all the fun stuff. And thank you for joining us for another episode of our podcast. This was like a real podcast.
Yes,
This was. I hope I should have said this at the beginning of the video. I hope y'all grabbed a snack and a drink and just everything. But yeah, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Collector's Corner podcast. There is more to come. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't. All related playlists will be linked in the description below. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.